Right where you crossed, we'll kind of wait for the rest of the, wait for the rest of the group. While we're waiting, but you can just take a look. This is really what this area looked like back during the Fulton Mall era. All these little different stores right where we are is where it was in this location. Wait for everybody else to get here.
Yeah.
So in this area, there was a lot of small stores. House of Fabrics was one. Was right basically where we are here. The Roth Furniture Company, Cohen's, which was or Conn's, a clothing store. And so then we'll end up toward the end of the block, and Katie will later talk about Montgomery Ward, but pretty much in this area were all these small stores, and then this was the Montgomery Ward, the big building here. All of that is completely gone today, obviously. So you're standing on what was the mall, but we have a parking lot today, and we do have several times where we discuss that today, but luckily we don't have. It's mostly in this section where most of those buildings have disappeared. As we walk, the majority of buildings still remain in this area.
When were those taken down?
These were, I'm not sure, because this did exist during the 1960s. Okay. That's one thing, unfortunately, in our week and a half of research, we weren't able to find out when some of these buildings were taken down. We only know they existed at the time when the mall went in. I imagine it was not long after, probably the 70s, but the 70s.
Yeah, right. It was like 70 to 72-ish that this went in. And they had been holding out to try to do almost like the public market that we're proposing now, but it didn't come together. And so that was kind of a failure of one of the big catalytic projects. And so when that didn't happen, they just said, we're declaring victory and getting along as drugs. And of course, we could see a very suburban, big parking lot in front, building set back, no eyes on the street in Fulton. No normal storefront here, so really a lot of damage. And this space between the activity up there and over here is really difficult to get people to bridge, because people don't like to cross these wide open spaces. So at some point we hope to get development here. The Housing Authority is looking at a plan where they would demolish this building that they're in now and do a complete new development that would go all the way out to the corner with ground floor retail, office, and housing up, affordable housing up above. So so if that happens, then things happen in steps. So you get something like that going, then someone will see this side hopefully and say, now this is a developable site too.
I know 3 or 4 years ago CVS wanted to move up to that corner over there. Has there been any talk with them to do something more urban related?
That's kind of ongoing. So CVS talked about going to the corner, but they wanted to do a one-story building, and the city's development code says 2-story minimum. So they said, we'll do a 1-story building and a fake 2nd story around it, and they said, no, that's not really the point. And so it's been back and forth. We've talked to multiple developers. Cliff Tatellian's been one, the Housing Authority's been another. Developer in town, Austin Ewell, trying to get a developer partnered with them so they could say, CVS, you'll be our ground floor tenant, but we'll build a multi-story building up above. So I think it'll come together at some point. It's one of those things, we'd like it faster than it happens, but things tend to happen at their own time. But cleaning up that corner over there and getting rid of that goofy roundabout, which was a remnant of the traffic loop around the mall, would be really nice to get that put together again. So, but now that's what the Downtown Development Code and Specific Plan will allow for, and it's easy to do and by right, so all the environmental assessment and all that's done. So if someone wants to do the right thing here, they pretty much get a fast pass to do it.
And the minimum is 2 stories here now.
Right.
Did they change that to, there's some places where it's more than 2, right?
Only by right around high-speed rail has a higher, I think it's 4 stories, right around the high-speed rail station, but everything else is minimum 2. In this area you can go up to 10, over by high-speed rail you can go up to 15.
Wow.
And it's all improved by the environmental impact report. So that's a really big thing for developers, because now if they implement the plan, they don't have to do their own EIR, which takes a couple of years and maybe even $1 million or $2 million. So it's all entitled. Ready to go. All right,
Do you want to walk a little bit, and then we'll talk about, or do you want to talk about the church?
Let's get to the corner.
Let's get to the corner. All right.
Watch your step.
Yeah.